Hi, everybody, and a very, very extra special welcome to Meet Your Body today as we are recording our 100th episode, our 100th episode on Meet Your Body. It has been a journey. It's been a couple years, I believe, October 2023, and I should have looked that up, but I think it was October 2023 when we put out our first episode. And I really did it because I just wanted to talk longer and dive deeper into subjects that I really care about. And I wanted to bring experts to you. And this gave me the chance to do that. And it's one of my favorite things. So thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for being here. And for our 100th episode, I thought I would kind of bring you like a state of the union, but a state of the union for myself and what I'm focusing right now on for my own health. So kind of a currently episode. Currently, this is what I'm focusing on. Because in general, the foundations of what I consider important for my own health, they don't change. Those pillars I talk about, a pillar of movement and fitness, a pillar of nutrition, what I'm putting in my body, a pillar of like stress relief, pillar of family. Those are kind of the four pillars that for me, I'm putting things into those boxes when it comes to focusing on my health. But within those large categories, things will change depending on the season of life, on my age, on what I have time for, on what we have going on as a family, on my stress levels, on whether I'm recovering from a surgery or any diagnoses that I have, on what tends to be working, what I feel like needs to be like really dialed in. And so I have 5 things right now within those categories, 5 specific things that I find myself really focusing on. So I thought I would share those with you. And then also keeping in mind, one reason I also like to share these is because we can sometimes get really, really, really overwhelmed with the amount of things that we can do for ourselves and our health. I mean, there are thousands of options. And if you are on any kind of marketing platform whatsoever, any kind of media platform, you're being bombarded with all of the things that you can add and try. And I know I add those to you too, right? We talk about all the different kinds of workouts. And then I talk about red light and what it means for me and what I do. And I talk about getting your sunlight. And then people online are going to talk about your, green tea that you might need to have. And this is the best time to work out. And then you need to fast, like all the things. There's so many things. And we get so overwhelmed that we end up being paralyzed from them. And so I want to validate and normalize the idea that it's really the most effective to focus on 3 to 5 things at once. And that's how I work with my clients, whether it's exercise or whether it's perimenopausal and menopausal support, whether it's an injury, 3 to 5 things at a time. And the other things that you think that you might want to try or might be really interesting, you don't have to ditch them. Just put them on the back burner. Like write them down on a list and say, in 3 months, I'm going to come back to that. Like once a quarter, okay, a couple, I do it every 3 months or so. I will re-engage, look at the things. Are these working for me? Where else do I need to put my focus? Do I need to change them? But I try not to just add, because it really will overwhelm you. And it will end up that you don't do anything. That is truly the way our brains work, is that they end up being paralyzed and then we don't do any of the things. So 3 to 5 things is a really great number to focus on. Give yourself 3 months to focus on those things and then assess. Did they work for me? Did they not? If they didn't work, do a really big like truth-telling assessment of, did I commit to them? Did I do it enough? And if you did, then maybe you need to adjust or maybe you want to focus on something else. So make it kind of scientific like that, but definitely give yourself parameters, give yourself a guide so that you can see some improvement at the end, or you can assess how it went and you can be truthful with it. And then also know you can't focus on everything at once. All right. So what can you do right now in this season of life that you're in? So for me, these are the 5 things that I am focusing on now, like kind of as the summer winds up, as we got through our summer travels, and I'm feeling how my body responded to all that. And I know what's coming up with work and with school starting. Where is my focus? Either where has it been for the last couple months, or really where do I want it to be right now moving forward? So one category, and I start with this because it's probably the most important, is stress relief. And yes, this has been a focus of mine for probably going on 3 years now, as I kind of got myself out of that chronic fight or flight place, chronic stress. And I do have an entire podcast episode about that, about my experience with chronic stress. And so feel free to go listen to that if that's something that you need to work through too. But for me, I feel like from now on, it's just always going to be a focus. It needs to be, because it truly is the foundation of everything else we do. Like, we cannot out supplement, out eat, out diet, out walk, out exercise, out sleep a dysregulated nervous system. Meaning, I could add and do great in every other category. Like, I could be a shining star in every other category. But if my nervous system is out of whack, burnout, chronic fight or flight, then those other things actually don't matter, because my body will not respond in the best way because of that dysregulated nervous system. And one reason I'm saying I want to continue focusing on it and making sure I'm really dialing it in is because it gets worse for women in perimenopause and menopause, because there's a scientific, we know this is irrefutable, that decreased estrogen has a very big impact on our nervous system. Like, we will absolutely experience more anxiety, or we can, I should say, experience more anxiety, more depression, dysregulation of our nervous system. And then our nervous system doesn't respond as well to the stress that comes in. So let's say you have that dysregulated nervous system, and that would feel like anything from burnout to feeling apathy, that you're not feeling excited or hopeful about anything, feeling anxious, feeling that rage that can come on, feeling depression. All of those kind of symptoms can come into this. For me personally, it tends to be anxiety, that heightened fight or flight. Like, I feel myself get kind of almost shaky. I can't get out of this cycle of thinking about like things that are going to happen in the future and whether I can control them better. Like, that's what it is for me. Instead of just being able to be peaceful in the moment, like, what will be, will be. That's a hard place for me. So that's how it manifests for myself. And so I just know through this age, it's going to be even more important, as well as the fact that I know also we have some like changes coming up just in our lives, our systems and our routines, that I need to be in a really good regulated place to be able to process those and move through them and be able to respond in the best way to them. And so stress will always be something that I am working on and focusing on. And what I mean by that is there are things that you can do to decrease stress. And I had to work on that a few years ago, definitely getting myself out of that chronic state of fight or flight. I had to really work on getting myself out of it. And it was taking steps to decrease stress and setting boundaries and really specific steps. And I feel like I've done really well with that. I've been really intentional, and I continue to do well with that. It's just that those old patterns, right? Those old thought patterns can still come in. So when a new situation arises that is unknown to me, that makes me worried, certain things about it, when a new situation arises, I can easily slip into old patterns of, getting down on myself, wondering what I can do better to control it, being worried about the people I love, those kind of things. And it puts me into a spiral. And so that's where I need to focus more now, because I've done the steps, like I said. So when that starts to happen, when I feel my brain and my body kind of go into that chronic place again, or that fight or fight place, I just have to really focus and say, okay, did I get out of some of my habits? Or do I need to do something different? Do I need to journal? Do I need to find a different mantra for this season of my life? What do I need to do? Do I need to seek out therapy, right? Like, that could be an option for you that you need to look at. I had therapy years ago that I feel like saved my life in some ways, but that is one of those back burner things to me that, okay, I'm doing fine right now, but that's something I'll go to if needed. So that's what I mean, that you're always kind of working through some of these lifelong things that we need to work on. But in this season of life, what I'm doing is really trying to work on how I'm responding to those unknowns that come my way, and making sure that I stay solid in those habits I've created to keep my nervous system regulated. So that's where I am with that. That's what I'm working on with the stress piece, is just keeping my nervous system nourished. That's a word I've been using a lot lately that feels right to me. That's what I need to do. So I've worked on getting the pieces in place, and it has been doing really well. But I need to make sure that I just keep nourishing that nervous system, not get into old habits of, letting my thoughts run wild, and then not taking care of myself, not taking moments during the day to rest, those kind of things. So that's the stress piece. That's one. The second thing that I'm working on, and these are in no particular order, is continuing lifting the heavier weights. So this is something that I did start probably 3 months ago, and I've lifted weights for years and years and years, forever. So what I mean by starting is I felt finally recovered from my breast cancer diagnosis, from my mastectomy, and then getting through that second surgery, really getting my inflammation under control, getting my stress under control, because I realize now why I was one reason I was having such crazy soreness after my workouts was because my stress levels were out of control. My body couldn't support myself. So stress is down, all of those things. So finally, I really felt in a good place to up my weights and go more into a progressive overload place where I'm increasing weights and being really specific about certain movements to build muscle. And I have been, knock on wood, I've been so very happy with how it's going. And for me, that means that my body is not flaring up with my hypermobility, with my endometriosis, with all of that. My body hasn't been flaring up. I've been able to manage my muscle soreness. So that's what I mean by it's going well. So when I say I want to focus on it, I mean I want to continue that. And I want to get a little more even focused on doing a solid 3 days a week, because right now it feels like about 2.5. I want to do a solid 3 days a week and get like a little more dialed in on the specific exercises that I really like to do. So that's what I mean by that. It's a small tweak, but it's just, I want to make sure I don't let any of it go by the wayside. And I want to continue to do a little progressive overload as I can. And then with that, this is the piece I'm kind of adding to it. I want to get back into my regular mobility and stretching routine, because that I have let drop to the wayside. And I feel that I miss that daily stretching. And so I need to focus on that. And it might be at night, like while reading with the kids. It might just be that I have to find a 10-minute block of time during the day, but that's what I need to add. So that is where I want the focus on this next season of life to be with movement and fitness, is, like I said, dialing in even more and even more focus on the progressive overload to see what strength benefits I can gain, and then making sure I'm doing the stretching to continue to help with my recovery. So that's number 2. Number 3 is more walking. And so hear me when I say all of this doesn't mean, I just want to exercise more. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. So with the weightlifting, I'm not adding more time. It just means I want to dial in the time I'm spending a little more, like make it a little more efficient, and take one of my days, and instead of it being kind of the half lift, I'm kind of like half lifting, half doing mobility, like that all feels good, but I want it to be a little more dialed in for the weightlifting piece. So I have a solid 3 days. So I'm not adding time. I'm just tweaking the time I'm doing on those. With the walking, I do want to add that back in, and it's simply because I haven't as much with it being the summer, and I find that I've missed it. So that's it. It's just, okay, can I find a solid, 20, 30 minutes a day to make sure I'm walking as well? Because that's just so important. And especially in this perimenopausal age, I feel better when I stay moving. So that's all. That's it. That's a simple one. I have to figure out where to find the time, and it might be spread throughout the day, or it might just be when the kids are practicing soccer and I walk around the soccer field. But I just know I want to add a little more walking. So number 4, nutrition and supplements. And so what I mean by this, that's the large category, but this is what I want to focus on. I tend to, especially at lunch, I'm busy during the day. I try to cram as much during the day when the kids are at school as I can. And so lunch sometimes is literally walking by the fridge, and I'm like, okay, protein and a veggie, that's what I need. So I'll grab 2 pieces of turkey and a couple bites of cottage cheese and throw some tomatoes in there. And then I'll go on my way and keep working. And I just absolutely know that's not nourishing my body. It's just not. Yes, I'm eating. Okay. So I prioritize making sure I'm getting calories and some protein, but I'm not getting enough protein. And I'm simply not nourishing my body with thoughtful food. And I don't quite know yet still what that looks like, because I just don't. I don't know. And that's okay not to know quite yet. I just know I need it to be a little different. So it might mean, a huge meal prep on Sunday. But I'm going to be honest, I don't like meal prep. I don't like spending that much time in the kitchen. It might be meal planning a little bit. I feel like that makes more sense, where, I know what I'm making Monday night, and I'll just make double so that I have more throughout the week. Like, I would love to have cooked rice in the fridge, a bunch of cooked veggies in the fridge, and cooked chicken. I mean, I would throw that together and eat it and be so happy, but I am not making that during the day. I'm just not. That's just not what I'm going to do. So that's why I say I kind of know what needs to happen. I just don't know exactly the best way it's going to fit into my life and my needs right now. But I do know that's what I need. I want more nourishing meals, maybe big soups. I'm just talking to you guys right now, like brainstorming. But winter works well for me because I'll make big pot of nourishing soup and I'll heat that during the week. And that's perfect for me. So I need to find a few other things to do. And in that vein, I want to make sure I'm passing that on to the kids too. I tend to do pretty well prepping things for them to have things, but I want to make sure that, especially as they get a little older and more independent in the kitchen, that I'm just in a really kind of joyful way prioritizing how to make your food, how to eat your food, because we eat almost all our meals at home. So that is a priority. They know that. But I want to make sure that they see some joy in prepping it. Because to be honest, I don't always have joy in prepping food. I have joy in eating homemade food and I like doing it myself, but I don't know if I have joy in making it. So that's the idea. And I know my focus wants to be around that. And so take this to mean too, you don't have to always know the exact way you're going to do it. The start is realizing, what do I want to put a focus on? Like, what do I want and what should I and what do I kind of need? I mean, those all kind of go together. So decide on that first and then just kind of experiment or just sit with it for a week. Just let it percolate in your head and say, what makes sense to me in my lifestyle with this? What am I going to stick with? Like, what am I going to be consistent with? And that's why you don't hear me saying, I'm going to home make every single meal, breakfast to dinner, and I'm going to count my macros. Okay, that's too much. I want to do that because it's interesting. I would like to learn, but I absolutely know that all those things at once are too much and I won't do them. So I am starting with this. I started a long time ago with protein. Yes, I have found ways to do that. Great. Like that was a start. So maybe you're just starting with that. For me now, the next step is how can I make it more nourishing? Like I want it to be more filling. I want to feed my muscles more. And I want it to be more nourishing instead of just running by the fridge. Here's, I open it. We don't have anything prepped. So I'm going to have cottage cheese and a hard boiled egg. Like I would like a little bit more nourishing of a meal, more variety of fruits and vegetables. So that's what I'm thinking through and kind of working. Like I said, it might look like meal prep. I know it's going to be more protein. So do I cook more at once? And then when I said supplements, I think it's just actually focusing. I really am happy with the supplements I'm taking now. It's been a lot of experimentation. And I have a podcast coming all about the supplements that I take because I know so many of you have asked. So I will have that coming. I won't go over them now. But again, kind of, I would say dialing in, but just more being consistent and continuing to kind of have my eye on that if there's any other support I feel like I need or any other nutritional gaps I might be missing. But it's just kind of keeping that as a part of the nutrition category. But I'm feeling pretty good about what I'm taking now. And so I'm just going to continue with that and assess in a few months. And then the fifth one is sleep, the ongoing joys and journeys of sleep. Oh goodness. It's a continuation. And I find I get so stressed about it. I get stressed at night about whether I'm going to be able to fall asleep or not, what time I need to go to sleep in order to get 8 hours because I feel best. And then knowing there's no way I'm ever going to get 8 hours. So then I get kind of stressed and ashamed about that I can't get 8 hours. Or maybe if I do get 8 hours, I have to go to bed earlier than the rest of my family. And I don't want to do that. I want to be with them. So stress is just a thing, sleep is just a thing. And I know it is for so many of us. I have been doing better. So this is another one where about 6 months ago, I realized my sleep was really bad. And I went through a lot of trial and error to get it to a better state, where my sleep quality was better. The quantity wasn't I wasn't sleeping longer, but the quality of sleep when I was actually in bed, it was doing much better. And so I'm happy with that. It's coming and going right now. And I think again, it's estrogen spiking and going down and that stress piece. I have to continue to get the stress piece under control. But I do have times like last night, I slept through the night. I didn't even get up to go to the bathroom. I slept through the night. It was amazing. And also it was like I went to bed at 11:45 and got up at 7:15. That's not ideal. Like earlier would be better. And during the school year, I'm going to have to get up at 6:30. So that's what I mean, that I need to kind of adjust and maybe just decrease my self-imposed stress around sleep. But it's just something I'm going to continue to kind of get my habit in. Like, what does that look like? Can I just get it a little more consistent? Because right now I do have times of consistency. And then I have times of kind of not consistency. So it's just that awareness. I don't have a big change I'm going to make with it. But that's just something I continue to believe more and more how important sleep is. And so it's something I don't want to say, oh, I got that under control. I'm going to check it off my list and move on. I just feel like it's really still a part of the big focus for me right now, even though it's doing much better. So to repeat, my 5 things, my current state of affairs for myself: nervous system. And I don't want to say stress, because I don't feel like I'm under stress. I feel like my nervous system sometimes just is very reactive when I need to help keep it calm and feeling safe. So what tools do I need to keep in place to keep that nervous system regulated? Dialing in and just continuing to focus and taking that progressive overload to the next level and making sure it's 3 solid days a week, and then adding the stretching with that. More walking. And when I say more walking, I don't mean an extra hour a day. I don't have time for that. I just mean like maybe it's a 10-minute morning walk that I had stopped doing because it's summer and I'm with the kids and all of that. Like whatever it is, I just know I want to add a few more steps, a little more walking back in. Nutrition. So the protein, nourishing meals, maybe having them prepped, ready to go, maybe just having more options in the fridge. And sleep, continuing to focus on sleep. And those right now are my top priorities for my health. Those are my top 5 priorities for my health. And then I have some other things that I really want to continue with and work on. I have like follow-up appointments with my oncologist in the next couple of months. So I have questions for her, things like that. So always things, like, okay, I want to check in on this. It's probably time for some blood work. I probably need to get on that. Like those are big goals I tend to make too, in 6-month or even yearly like marks of, okay, this year I want to get to that. Or it's time that I feel ready to check in with a, functional medicine doctor. I want a full panel, those kind of things. But this, I'm talking every day. What can I work on? What feels right to me in my life in this season? What's intuitively right? What is my body telling me? And that's where I am. So those are my things. And I hope, again, it just encourages you to think of a few things for yourself. And then I adjust them, or I kind of just do a reassessment. I would say about every 3 months. I mean, I don't put it on the calendar necessarily, but every 3 months is a really good time frame for you to just look at what you're doing. Is it working for you? Is it not? Can you be consistent? Are you not? Do you need to change it? Like that workout class you committed to that's 30 minutes away, are you realistically just not going to drive to it? Then let it go. Like, let it go. It's okay. I wouldn't either. I'm not going to drive. I'm not going to drive 30 minutes, take an exercise class and drive back. I would love to. I have these high visions of doing that. But realistically, I'm not going to take that time. I would rather use that drive time to work out at home, so I have an extra hour for other things. Like, it's okay. It is okay to leave some things behind if they don't work for you right now, or you just can't make them a part of your life right now. That's why you check in every 3 months, right? So what can you do right now in this season? And let's do them together. I mean, I would love to know. I would love to know what you're working on too. Go find me in the Unlimited community. Find me on Instagram. Let me know. And we'll all continue to support each other. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being here for the 100th episode. And I will let you know in a few months how these things are going. All right. I'll talk to you soon.